we'd always celebrate Chinese New Year, and we have always had a great admiration for Chinese culture, and that's why I'm delighted that we're joined tonight from a representative from the embassy from China here. Why I'm delighted that we have such good links, not just with the Chinese people here in our own country, but with Chinese people across the world. And it's a really important relationship for our country. And I, for one, am delighted that we're celebrating that tonight. And I know, of course, here tonight we have people here from the Chinese community who've been honoured for their work in the community, in the various honours lists that we have, and have been honoured by the Labour Party for the work they do too. But I go back to what I said at the beginning. We need to see more than that. We actually need to see the Labour Party promoting young, active, or even not so young and active members to become our candidates in the next election. Our members to become our candidates in the next election. And we need to make sure that we encourage the Chinese community to find their voice, because they're often the silent community, and yet they contribute so much. So we want more participation in all levels of politics. We want more great role models, as some of the role models that we have here tonight here already. And most of all, we want to fight and see the next government being a Labour government. So I'll leave you at that.
新年快樂，恭喜發財 ！Very happy and prosperous Chinese New Year to you. Thank you. As we usher in the year of the rabbit, let us take for a moment to think about those families across the country struggling with increasing fuel and food costs, a VAT rise of 20%, cut in public services, and closure of frontline services. Promises after promises made before the general election are broken on a daily basis by this Conservative-led government, with the Liberal Democrats taking the flag for them. The redundant, disabled, denied care, kids cheated of good education, and the elderly left to fend for themselves. Many people feel powerless in the face of these decisions that will affect their lives, families, and communities. Why do the Tories want to stop the poor from having what their own children have? Child trust funds snatched away, while their own children have private trusts setting them up for life. Sure Start centers closing down. Book Start, a gift, a label gift of free books to everybody under threat of closure. Axing the Future Jobs Fund, educational maintenance allowance. Closing down libraries up and down the country will create a segregated, divided education system. A divided society, not a big society, a step backwards. What are the Tories afraid of? They keep saying that we, Labour, was irresponsible in creating the deficit, structural or otherwise. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's collective amnesia on their part. I mean, they don't remember that we had the banking crisis that brought the world to its brink. The deepest recession ever since the 30s. Plus, they forgot. They actually agreed with our spending plans. In fact, they wanted to increase it. Well, governments across the world followed our lead, increased spending. If investments in schools, hospitals, children, the elderly, law and order, keeping people in work and keeping deflation away is irresponsible, I'm proud of it. Without fiscal stimulus during the recession, economic activity would have contracted even more sharply. Unemployment would have risen further. I think the battery's flat. Right, it's better. Look, unemployment would have risen and our annual deficit would have gone up, not down. Arguing that cutting spending in the teeth of the recession would have cut UK's deficits or its debt stock is just not economically illiterate. It is just real deficit denial. I'm proud of our child trust funds, our Sure Start centers, building schools for the future jobs fund, remember all this? These are all Labour initiatives. Every one of those helping decent, hard-working families across the country, now closed or under the threat of closure. We should stand tall and be proud of everything that we achieved in government. In this country. Let's enjoy tonight. Let's make friends, network. After tonight, let's take that fight to the streets, to the doorsteps, and onwards to victory. Thank you.
Only one. Why we need Ken Livingstone as the next is that the Jubilee line will never again break down as a Chinese dinner. I don't know if you've started on your manifesto, Ken, but I think that Jubilee line services on the nights of Chinese for Labour annual dinners would be a good start. Today is a very significant day in the Olympics calendar. I just think it's worth pausing for a moment and asking yourself, amidst the elation and the pride, and I think the admiration that we will have when the London Olympics are open, think about the difference in how you will feel. Between, on the one hand, Boris Johnson sitting there representing London, and on the other hand, someone who actually helped bring the Olympics to London, namely Ken Livingstone, representing our city, our capital city, and representing the Labour Party. And I, for one, think that the world needs to know that London is a Labour city, not a Tory city. And we've got our work cut out to get that
down. Flesh, blood, and bones. But if you want to start a rumble, don't you try me on my own, because I'm the real. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking this. Where all you guys are going to sing along, and I've got some lyrics here, little comedy props really. Consequence of Bert's career is that he inspired me personally, and you're going to go, oh, 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 when everything I do is wrong, oh, 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 you give me hope and consolation, oh, 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 so that's all you're going to do. So, okay, if you can just stop it there. Right, I'm going to start the first verse and I'm going to hold up this.
No, come on.
And this is a note. Then I'm going to sing the next line. When everything I do is wrong. Ah, you give me hope and consolation. Oh, you're trying to carry on. Now the final bonds of you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the style of a Chinese Tai Chi class, you're all going to move in unison together. And so when you sing the wonder of you, you're going to say the wonder of you, pointing on the word you to me. I think you've got that. We're just going to go for it now. We're going to go through this, no rehearsals. Thank you very much, Ben. Just turn the whole thing up, please. Okay, here we go.